There is incredible drive from 2,500 RPM all the way to 9,000 RPM. Aprilia makes great handlers, period. Yes, it does boast of great handling and can be a worthy track tool. Beautiful things often make you step outside your comfort zone. Like I did today. I took a flight at a god-forsaken hour just to spend 15 to 20 minutes to ride this lovely looking Aprilia RS 457. Has it been worth it? Has Aprilia India cracked the perfect bike to capture the Noale firm's sporty ethos without it being exorbitantly priced? Come along and get ready to be a racer. But before I hop on, I would just like to spend a few minutes just soaking in the lovely view. And this RS 457 is an absolute stunner. The design cues have trickled down nicely from the larger RS 660 and RS V4. It isn't oozing exotica, but it gets that typical loveliness that you associate with Aprilia motorcycles. And it does so in a rather charming manner.
The sharp twin LED headlamp face is flanked with neat little aero elements that sit well with the sporty look that the bike is aiming for. The tail narrows down with what seems to be enough pillion seating space for a slender person. It is almost as if Aprilia would rather you ride this solo, as sport bikes are usually meant to be. And in typical Aprilia fashion, nestled in a RS V4 inspired aluminum twin spar frame is a brand spanking new 457cc twin that brings 47 bhp and 43.5 Nm at your disposal. You do get a slipper clutch, ride-by-wire and 3 riding modes: Sport, Eco and Rain. And since we are riding it solely around the Kari Motor Speedway for a limited amount of time, I left it in Sport only.
And boy, does it come alive. There is incredible drive from 2,500 RPM all the way to 9,000 RPM, post which the performance sort of tapers down. So down the main straight of the Kari Motor Speedway, I saw 156, 155 kilometers per hour in 5th gear. There simply wasn't enough road left for me to go any faster or engage 6th gear. The mid-range punch is incredible as it builds up momentum rather quickly and reaches triple digits in just the 3rd gear. However, you get a sense that it runs out of breath fairly soon and you don't get that same top-end thrill that you associate with twin-cylinder motorcycles. And that sort of leaves us a little bit sad because we know that there is a lot more potential, a lot more fun to be had. And the vibes, they are pretty much present right across the rev range, especially they start from 5,000 RPM onwards and then they get higher and higher as you go up the rev range. Now out on the track, it wasn't much of a bother as the performance on hand was enough for you to overlook it. But in the real world, it might become a bit of an issue, especially during high-speed touring. In that sense also, I wish the gearbox was a bit more slick, a bit more easy to use, because currently both upshifts and downshifts were a bit inconsistent, a bit crude and a bit clunky. Thankfully, the clutch action was light and precise always. And lastly, this bike gets 3 levels of traction control and you can switch it off completely as well. So out here on the track, I started riding in the least intrusive riding mode, and even when I switched it off completely within a couple of laps, it wasn't too scary or it didn't throw a fit. So there were no nervy moments when you went ham-fisted on the throttle. So in that sense, the power or the torque kick again doesn't make you feel as scared as you would on, say, the KTM 390 Duke, where electronics play such a huge key role. Here, the electronics are working in a neat and subtle manner.
Aprilia's racing lineage has taught them how to design beautiful handling motorcycles, and the RS457's foundations certainly live up in that regard. The twin spar frame is suspended by USD fork and monoshock, both of which are preload adjustable. It uses a radial front caliper with a large front brake rotor. The tires are specially developed alongside TVS tires to suit the bike, and all of this comes neatly into a package that truly lives up to the RS legacy.
Aprilia makes great handlers, period. So despite this bike being made at Baramati, Noale's traditions of making great corner carvers isn't lost here. This chassis inspires incredible confidence as you can carry some seriously fast lean angles. And it sort of is very light and effortless as it just swishes from one side to the other in a jiffy, without it being too intimidating in its execution. And credit must be given to these specially developed TVS ProTorque Extreme HR tires, as they provide phenomenal traction. Even when they are at their absolute edge, there is none of the squirming sensations, or you don't get a feeling that the traction is going to wash away. I am extremely disappointed with the braking department of this motorcycle, as they simply do not match the performance capabilities that this bike possesses. There is massive amounts of brake fade right from the moment you start to push this bike, and even the initial bite on offer isn't that great. Aprilia has skimped a bit on this regard, so you get organic brake pads and not sintered. You get a rather simple master cylinder unit, and even the levers on offer aren't adjustable. Plus, ABS intervention is rather intrusive as it kicks in almost too suddenly, which is rather remarkable because we are riding here at a racetrack which has almost pristine tarmac. So Aprilia definitely needs to work on the ABS calibration at least to start with. 800 mm seat height, rear set foot pegs and raised clip-on bars. Now these put you in a nice spot to have some great cornering fun. But Aprilia has found the right level of sportiness so that you're not contorting your body to suit the motorcycle, and there are no wrist aches or back aches to complain of, like you would experience on the old gen KTM RC390, or for that matter the current gen Yamaha R15. This is a tad bit better than the current KTM RC390 and the TVS Apache RR310. But it isn't quite as relaxed as well like the new Yamaha R3. So this has just the perfect level of sportiness that you would want from a sports tourer that wants to go sport riding.
A small 5-inch color TFT dash acts as a command center for the bike, where you can check your ride and bike data, as well as change the various riding parameters like riding modes, traction control and ABS with the help of the switch cubes. Plus, there's music control and call control as well, but no navigation assist whatsoever.
The RS457 has no sintered pads, no adjustable levers, no standard quick shifter and limited range of adjustability for the suspension. So when compared to the KTMs, it isn't quite as sophisticated or feature loaded. Plus, there is a big unknown associated with this motorcycle in the grand scheme of things. So sales touch points, service outlets, spares, service costs and reliability, all of this is fairly unknown. And we'll only get to know about this more when this bike goes on sale in March and later on. Also, a few motorcycles here had some technical issues and some fitment problems, especially surrounding the rear brake fluid reservoir. So while overall fitment and quality levels on this bike are great, small irritants like this do dampen your spirits. The first made in India Aprilia motorcycle isn't quite as perfect, just like the SR150 was all those years back. But it lacks outright oomph, has a lot of braking inconsistencies, and there are a lot of unknown variables still associated with this motorcycle, which holds us back from recommending this bike wholeheartedly. And considering how much money you have to shell out for this bike, you can find better options far lower in the price range, especially like the KTM RC390, the current iteration, which is a far better all-rounder product now. But still, it isn't quite as exorbitantly priced as the Yamaha R3, which is still quite sweet, but in comparison doesn't have quite as many features or isn't quite as stunning looking. But the R3 still has that lovely twin cylinder experience that you crave. So which one would you get? Do let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like and share this video, subscribe to our channel, hit the bell notification icon. Stay geared up on all your rides. Please wear a helmet and stay safe.